Hello and welcome to DataCurrents demo. This video reviews the process of installing DataCurrents software and steps to configure data replication from Oracle to SQL Server. Here is some technical information of the lab environment we use for this demo. Note prerequisites for source, Oracle, and target SQL Server databases. The diagram outlines three main DataCurrents components required for data replication: DC capture, DC server, and DC console. Let's start our demo video. It includes two main parts: initial software installation followed by replication configuration from Oracle to SQL Server. DataCurrents software is available as a zip archive. After moving the file to a temp folder, we unzip it and run dcinstall.exe file. Note that this is for Windows. You will need to run .sh file on Linux or Unix. Once it is started, we follow on-screen instructions. Here is a license agreement page. We need to make sure all three DataCurrents components are selected for the initial installation. This page is to provide information to connect to the source Oracle database with sysdba privileges. We enter IP address, database name, and syspassword for our source Oracle database. Port number is the same, so no need to change it. Click on the button to check connectivity and move on to the next screen. A window comes up asking to provide a password for the repository user DataCurrents. We enter a password, click another check button, and move on to the next screen. The screen is select configuration for DC server or apply or process, which will be configured as a service, Windows service in this case. We can adjust default settings, select IP address instead of host name, set the service to auto start mode, and select OS username to run the service. After verifying service configuration, we can move to the next screen. We can select a new home folder for DataCurrents files, but let's stick with the default one. Final review before starting the actual installation. Let's start it. Several steps to install, configure required files, create repository, and it is successfully completed. Note this message at the end. DataCurrents software is now installed. We exit the installer and start DC console to configure tables for replication. After connecting to the DataCurrents repository and displaying license warning, a wizard is started to configure data replication. On this screen, we need to provide a password for sysuser. Here we select SQL Server as the target database type, provide IP address for the server with running SQL Server, username and password to host target replication tables. Next screen, no changes are required here. We accept default parameters. Now new DataCurrent DC1 is configured. It is a logical unit for data replication between selected source and target databases. Next step, we select source tables for the replication. For this demo, we choose all tables from the HR schema. We select simple configuration, choose schema for replication tables with target SQL Server database, and proceed to the actual configuration. We can see that all selected tables are now configured for the replication. A few more moments and this step is also completed. As DC capture and DC server processes are down, we need to start them up. Note two green lights at the top of the screen indicating that both processes are up and running. Done. Data replication is now configured, activated, and ready to be used. On the dashboard screen, we can monitor tables replication, check latency, backlog, process status. Let's start our replication. We can see that all tables are in sync status, which means target tables are now running in sync with source ones. We are going to make some changes to a source table to see how DataCurrents processes them. We are using Oracle's SQL developer to update a source table. Let's select Jobs table, navigate to a row with accountant job title, and update max salary column from 9,000 to 9,550. Before leaving or committing this change to the source Oracle database, let's check the table in SQL Server. Switching to SQL Server Management Studio and checking Jobs table. Accountant's maximum salary is set to 9,000. Switching back to Oracle's SQL developer and committing the change. We are back to DC console to check replication status. After refreshing DC capture status, we see that one update statement is captured. DC server also reports processing one update. The change should be in SQL Server by now. We are in SQL Server Management Studio. After refreshing Jobs table, we'll see that the change was replicated to SQL Server. We are going to repeat this simple test and restore the initial number 9,000 for Jobs table. Source Oracle table is updated. Change is committed. Back to SQL Server. We see the change was replicated. DataCurrents console also shows that another update statement was processed by both DC server and DC capture. Dashboard reports healthy replication with close to 0 seconds latency. Our testing for the new replication configuration is completed. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions, comments, or requests regarding DataCurrents data replication. Thank you for your time and stay tuned for more updates and videos.